Hey guys, Twister here, and that was a very interesting ending to what was honestly a pretty boring Dover race. But anyways, the finishing order and stuff is not anywhere of where most people were running most of the race. The race for the most part was pretty boring, but you'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and display the top 10 up there. First place and the winner was Chase Elliott. Second was Denny Hamlin. Third was Joey Logano. Fourth, Eric Jones. Fifth, Kurt Busch. Sixth, Kevin Harvick. Seventh, Austin Dillon. Eighth, Kyle Busch. Ninth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And 10th, Daniel Suarez. There are some key drivers that if you would have looked with 50 laps to go, you would have thought that there was no way they weren't going to get a top 10, even some of them top 5 finishes. And all that chaos kind of started in stage 3, which seems to always in every race be crazy. Uh, Beginning of the race, stages 1 and 2 were dominated by Kevin Harvick. He looked untouchable until on a green flag pit stop, he had a loose wheel, and that took him out of contention and gave the lead to Aric Almirola, who looked like it was his race to lose because the only other car that was kind of close to him was Bowyer. And with Harvick being out of contention, it didn't matter. So then the race continues a little bit. Then Clint Bowyer has, I think it was either a flat tire or some kind of axle problem. I'm not sure. I never actually officially heard which it was. But he comes in and pits, and that ruins his day. And then so the race continues with that. And then a little bit later, Clint Bowyer goes straight into the wall. Tires blown. His day is done. And this was with, I believe, 8 or 7 laps to go. Not 100% for sure. But anyway, that leaves the decision of people, do you pit or do you not pit? Well, Aric Almirola and Kurt Busch, who were running 1 and 2, decide to go ahead and pit. Third place at the time was Chase Elliott. He did not pit. And so there's a mix of guys staying out, people taking 2, people pitting on 4. After it's all said and done, Chase Elliott is starting in first with Keselowski next to him. I believe neither of them pitted. They're both on old tires. And then you have Denny Hamlin, who's got 2 tires behind them. And Aric Almirola is starting 6th after all this has happened. So then after that, the restart happens. Elliott gets a good start. Keselowski spins his tires. They head into turn 1. Almirola makes an aggressive move on the high side, and his car gets tight. And with him trying to make up all that time within such few laps from, I think it was 3 laps to go, hits the wall, comes back down, hits Keselowski, and a big crash ensues on the backstretch, which ends Almirola's day. Basically, Keselowski was done, Bowman was done. It ruined Truex too. Blaney got a piece of it too. So a lot of playoff drivers were involved in that late race incident, and this actually helped Clint Bowyer, even though he felt awful for causing the wreck that took Aric from winning. And so, yeah, all that shuffled the order, and it was complete chaos right there. That the red flag to field, and that put some drivers at a very big disadvantage. So then we have the final restart. Chase Elliott gets a solid restart with 60 lap older tires than Denny Hamlin roughly, and beats him, which was basically redemption for him from the heartbreak last year at Dover, where he just kind of gave it to Kyle Busch after not moving his lineup. And he has proved that he can definitely be a threat to make it to Homestead and maybe even do something to rival the Big Three if given the opportunity. Because I wasn't sure, but this race, if you didn't think that he could drive, he proved that he could drive when he's starting on 60 lap old tires and beat Denny Hamlin, who is a very good driver. So Chase Elliott can definitely be a dark horse pick to make a run at this championship. And with that win, he also automatically advances into the round of 8. While, as I pulled up here, some drivers are in not such a good position when it comes to the playoffs. Now, as you can see, Almirola, Bowyer, Larson, and Bowman are all outside looking into the playoff grid. Almirola Boyer both looked like they were going to have awesome days, and everything just come crashing down at the very end of the Dover race. So very unfortunate for them. They both find themselves 10 points behind Ryan Blaney, which can be made up, but this definitely does not sit well with him going into Talladega. Kyle Larson is only 12 points back, and honestly, I thought that he was going to be able to contend for a win. The way that he looked in practice the whole week, and then all of a sudden it was not very good during the race. I mean, for him to even finish, I believe he 12th was an accomplishment because he was not very good. So for him to only be 12 points back is a win, if you can call it that, because he should have been a lot farther back. And that's going to be hard to make up because he's never run well at Talladega, so he may have to actually win at Kansas if he wants to move on. I mean, he could get Talladega, but I would not bet money on it. And Alex Bowman, I gotta feel bad for him. He was caught up in the big crash that started with Almirola and Keselowski, and his team battled all day to stay on the lead lap and found themselves running in the top 10. Looked like they may actually be able to pull out a solid day, not awesome day to get him above the cut line, but he was at least gonna be close, and then got caught up in that. Now he's sitting 34 points back. Mathematically, he can do it without a win. Supposedly easily. Mathematically, he could do it, but with the way his team is run, they're decent now, but there's no way they make it 34 points without a win. He has to win Talladega or Kansas, and if he's going to win, it would have to be at Talladega. That team is better on speed, but he's not going to win at Kansas. Unless it's some fuel strategy, something or another, he's going to have to win Talladega if he wants to advance. So my thoughts on the race as a whole, I would say the race is a 7 out of 10, mainly because the ending was exciting to watch, but most of the race was like a 4 or 5. It was the Kevin Harvick show. I wasn't really expecting. I thought the race wasn't gonna be like a crazy like the Roval or something like that, but this was very boring for a Dover race. I thought there'd be more issues than there were, but the ending made up for it. And I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. It was okay. The ending definitely helped, like I said. But anyway, this was a fairly interesting ending to a fairly boring race from the most part. I'm going to be curious to see how this all shakes out going into Talladega and Kansas, and what people are now thinking as your potential for going to Homestead, because we've seen, I mean, if Keselowski right here, if Keselowski wrecks again, or Logano, they could find themselves at the bottom. Even Truex, if he wrecks at the beginning of Talladega, doesn't get any stage points, he could be in trouble heading into Kansas. Just because that they're get a lot of points, that means something bad can happen and they end up way in the back. We just saw quickly how Clint Bowyer looked fairly good in points in Dover, and then all of a sudden one incident and he's 10 points out now. So things can happen quickly, and a lot of people say the big three are guaranteed, but I'm telling you, I feel like one of them may find some misfortune at Talladega and Kansas and be knocked out. And if it's any of them, I feel like it's Truex just because he has the least amount of points. But Kyle Busch did not run good today, and that is very worrying for that team. But anyways, I'll have a video talking about Talladega, previewing it, and how I look at the playoff picture going into that. I really appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.